Reggae Boys have qualified for the Gold Cup 2025 after beating St. Vincent 4-1 on aggregate. And here are 5 things we learned from this March camp.
Jamaica have a lifeline. How about this?
They got Gunnaz podcast.
Welcome back to the Gunnaz podcast, and this is a series called 5 Things We Learned, where I basically cover the 5 main things that we can take away from any Reggae Boys camp. If you missed any of these videos, there is a playlist on my channel available for free. So after this episode, you guys can just go ahead and watch the others that I've made in the past. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dicanio, an Arsenal fan that covers everything Reggae Boys and local football. If you find that you enjoy the content that I do here, remember to smash that like button. And also for the 61.3% of regular viewers who keep watching these videos and my content and are not subscribing, just go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button and to join the Gunnaz community. Remember, every single video I do on this channel must get to 100 likes. So just go ahead and smash that like button. So the first thing we learned was that Steve McClaren gave and will continue to give local players a chance. Now, this is specifically in this camp regarding Sule McCullough and Warner Brown. So we did see that Sule McCullough started, right, that first game against St. Vincent. And Steve McClaren himself said that he started Sule because he wanted to have that good diamond, and he felt as though Sule would have done a better job than Isaac Hayden in front of the back four. So we allowed Isaac Hayden to go ahead and play in an 8. And I think that is mainly due to the fact that the last time Isaac Hayden played was against the United States, where he did score by arriving in the box. And he also did have chances in that St. Vincent first leg game to score right at the top of the box. So in theory, if Isaac Hayden might have scored, it would have worked, but it didn't. So Steve McClaren clearly made a few changes and took Sule McCullough out of the lineup, started Isaac Hayden in the second game. But to stick on the point of him giving local players a chance, it wasn't only Sule McCullough. Warner Brown came on in that first game, won the penalty, rightfully so, and was rewarded with a start in the second game, and he took that opportunity and scored. So it's very, very good that we're seeing Steve McClaren give local players a chance that have quality, and it's also better to see the players, especially Warner Brown, take their chances when given. The second thing that we've learned is that the team is building chemistry and patterns of play. So I just want to take us back before Steve McClaren, back to Coach Punk Grimmy. So let's head right into it. And the first one is that Coach Grimmy loves to play the pragmatic style. And before I let Dylan talk a little bit about it, we've seen this from him. Like, no matter who he has, he always prioritizes defense first. Yeah, he loves the pragmatic style. He looks very comfortable whenever we're playing in a pragmatic style. And yeah, thoughts, Dylan?
Honestly, I haven't been able to find the passing accuracy from both games, but I am sure it's about 50 or 60%. It was not anything to brag home about, but that's not what he did. You know, we had 19% possession in the first half of the game against the USA, which is insane to think about. That literally means that we literally parked the bus from the first minute of the game.
Our time under Punk Grimmy was not a very good time as it relates to the style of play Jamaica was trying to deploy. We were very defensive, a counter-attacking team that didn't counter-attack well, and it was just was not enjoyable to watch Jamaica under Coach Grimmy, right? And Steve McClaren mentioned in his latest post-match press conference that he's trying to change that mentality out of the team, a mentality that the team did need. Because after the Tapa era, it was a bit, we sort of needed an identity, and we needed stability in our back line. So as much as I don't rate Grimmy, he did help us with that stability and continuity in our teams that really is going to help Steve McClaren to push forward, right? So yeah, that Coach Grimmy was basically playing bush football back then. Even that game that we almost beat United States in Nations League, where Corey Burke came on and scored the own goal. People I did not like how Jamaica played that game. I didn't like it. It was too defensive. And even though we could have scored if CFA scored, or we could have this, or we could have that, to me, we were looking for a needle in a haystack playing that way, right? We were lucky to get the goal that early in the game. And even they had chances as well. So I never thought that us playing that way is going to win us, or not win us, but get us to a World Cup. And I think I'm pretty happy with the style of play that Steve McClaren is trying to deploy, especially in that second game. We saw patterns of play, we saw intensity, we saw a good tempo, and we saw a goal. So hopefully, which when we add better players, which is a point I will get to later on in this video, you will see that style of play shining through more consistently throughout a football game. Now, the third thing that we learned is that Steve McClaren is bringing Fergie time to Jamaica, because in McClaren's first 10 matches, Jamaica has scored 12 goals, with 6 of those goals coming in the last 15 minutes of a game or in added time. Also, 10 of our 12 goals scored under McClaren have been in the second half, with 4 of those goals being own goals. One might ask, why am I mentioning that we forced 4 own goals in his 10 games? And that's simply because it's becoming a pattern, and that pattern is caused by our ability to apply serious pressure in the second half of games. That is going to bode well for us in the future if it becomes a part of our identity. It shows that we have a never say die attitude and that the team is quality under pressure. The fourth thing that we learned is that Steve McClaren does trust his players. Now, even the body language, everything in and around the team, the training camp, how McClaren is on the sideline, it's very evident that he now knows the players. It's very evident that he now trusts the players. McClaren's first 2 games compared to his last 2 games, there's a complete shift in the team dynamic, team chemistry, the synergy, how he speaks on the sideline, how he gives instructions, because he now knows his players and he trusts them. Classic examples, Richard King in that first game, a very rookie mistake that he made that could have cost us. And the coach did call for Damian Lowe, with majority of us thinking, okay, Lowe will come and take his spot. However, he trusted King. He know what King is capable of. He's seen King play better football matches consistently and knew that he would be able to get the job done against St. Vincent. And even though we were all calling for King to be dropped, he gave King the shout, which shows his trust in the player. Also, 2 more unorthodox things that he did that shows his trust in his players was playing Damari Gray at central attacking midfield in that second game against St. Vincent. So Damari Gray was playing more central, in behind Warner Brown, sometimes right beside Warner Brown, because of his profile. The fact that he's able to take care of the ball is the reason why he played there, according to Steve McClaren. So he had Isaac Hayden, Bobby Reed, and Damari Gray in the center of that pitch, because they are able to take care of the ball and play in tight spaces. So that just shows the trust that he has playing a winger in that position. And lastly, Latibodir playing him at left back instead of playing Christopher Ainsworth. Maybe I'm a bit contradictory in not playing Christopher Ainsworth, who is a natural left back. However, Latibodir, if he's in the team, has to play. And I think Latibodir, even at left back, is better than Christopher Ainsworth, even though he's left-footed. So, yeah, I just like the trust and the synergy that we are seeing between Steve McClaren and the players in this team. And again, it will only bode well for the future. Now, the fifth and final thing that we learned is that with a few arrivals, this team will qualify for the World Cup. Now, when you pair in the trust that I just spoke to you guys about, the quality in the team, or never say die attitude, everything paired together, the patterns of play, the style of play that he's trying to implement, if you put better players into this pot that Steve McClaren is cooking up, then it's a guarantee that we will make this World Cup. It's exciting time. So we know the names like Greenwood, we know the names like Baker. Those are 2 players that their passport is right on the verge of getting done. For whatever reason, right? It's right on the verge. It is near. It is there. Plus, you have players as well who we don't know if they have even started the process, if they already have passports, or if they want to start the process. For example, Dwight McNeil, currently injured. He could help us. Maybe not in our bid for the World Cup, but if we do make it to the World Cup, he could be an added element to the team. Tyrick Mitchell, we don't know about his case as yet regarding passport or if he wants to represent, but he is a very good option at left back. Seasoned, week in, week out, mid-table left back, right? Has been called up for England before, has played for England before, but those weren't friendlies. So he is still eligible to play for Jamaica, right? And then also Reece Nelson, because he is able to play for Jamaica. He's flirted with the fans in the past as it relates to playing for Jamaica, right? He spoke about his background and him being Jamaican in interviews. So that is one we could look out for. Again, we don't know how the process is going, with respect to if he wants to play, if he wants to get a passport, if he already has a passport. But imagine adding those 5 players, a Mason Greenwood and a Reece Nelson up top, right? To challenge Damara Gray, challenge Leon Bailey, because that competition will only bode well for the country. It will raise levels. A Dwight McNeil in the midfield, playing attacking midfield, right? A Lewis Baker challenging the Bobby Reed and the Isaac Cadence in that midfield. A good option off the bench, a good option to start, right? Tyrick Mitchell, a solid, proven left wing back, right beside a solid, proven left centre back in Ethan Pinnock. The levels of that team would just raise by just adding 5 key players. So people, it's looking up for this national team. That was it for the 5 things we learned from this March camp. Share your thoughts below in the comment section. Let me know what you are thinking. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed with any of these things that I think we should have learned. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, every single video I do on this channel must get to 100 likes. So just go ahead and smash that like button. Thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Jamaica have a lifeline. How about this?
They got Gunnaz podcast.